Your dog followed you to the bathroom today, and the kitchen, and the bedroom, and back to the couch. You probably called it clingy, or laughed about it, or wondered if your dog has separation anxiety. What if I told you that following behavior has nothing to do with neediness, and almost nothing to do with anxiety? What it actually is one of the oldest survival roles ever assigned in canine social structure. And your dog has assigned that role to you every single day without you ever knowing. Welcome to Cute Pet Family. Subscribe right now, because what you're about to learn will change the way you understand one of the most common things your dog does in your home. And once you see it for what it is, you will never call your dog clingy again. Let's start with what everyone assumes. Dog follows owner everywhere. Dog is needy. The interpretation feels obvious because the behavior maps onto something familiar. A child who can't be away from their parent. A partner who needs constant proximity. We project the human meaning onto the dog and call it dependency. This interpretation is, in nearly every case, completely wrong, because what your dog is doing is not emotional dependency. It is a hardwired social role inherited directly from their wolf ancestors. A role that, in the wild, was the difference between life and death for the entire pack. Your dog is not following you because they need you. Your dog is following you because, in their behavioral programming, you are the individual they have been assigned to keep alive. To understand this, you have to understand how wolves and feral dog populations actually live. Wolf packs do not operate as a chaotic group of equals. They operate as a structured social system where each member has a role. And one of the most important roles in any wolf pack is the role of sentinel. A sentinel is a pack member whose job is to maintain visual and proximity contact with the most central member of the group, usually the breeding female, or in some cases, an injured or vulnerable pack member who needs continuous monitoring. The sentinel does not lead. The sentinel does not hunt independently. The sentinel's job is to stay close, to watch, to track, to be the second pair of eyes that keeps the central member alive while they sleep, eat, or move. This behavior has been documented across wolf populations on 3 continents, and it is, by every measure of canine ethology, one of the most stable social roles in the species. Here is what almost no owner has ever been told. Domestic dogs retain the sentinel program completely intact. The behavior was not bred out of them. The behavior was bred into greater intensity. Selective breeding for companionship over thousands of years amplified the sentinel instinct, because dogs that stayed close to humans were the ones that survived alongside us. The dogs that wandered, the dogs that didn't track their humans, the dogs that didn't follow, were the ones that died, got lost, or got left behind. Your dog's ancestors were specifically the ones who could not stop following the human they had bonded to. That trait was selected for generation after generation for at least 15,000 years. By the time your dog was born, the sentinel program was not just present in their nervous system. It was the dominant social drive of their species. When your dog stands up the moment you stand up, walks behind you to the kitchen, and lies down again 2 feet away when you sit, that is not emotional behavior. That is a working program executing a job that has been running across your dog's lineage for longer than human civilization has existed. Here is the part that most owners completely miss. The role of sentinel is not just about presence. It is about hierarchy. A sentinel does not follow random members of the pack. A sentinel follows the individual the pack has classified as core, the most important to protect, the most central to the social structure, the one whose loss would destabilize the entire group. When your dog selects you as the individual to follow, they are not making an emotional choice. They are making a structural one. Their nervous system has identified you as the central node of the household, the individual whose movement, whose location, whose state of well-being matters most. And they have assigned themselves the job of monitoring you. You did not earn this position in the way humans earn things. You were classified into it by an evolutionary inheritance that operates on its own logic in the background of every interaction you've ever had with your dog. There is a second layer to this that explains some of the patterns owners find confusing. Why does the following sometimes get more intense at certain times of day? Why does it appear in some dogs, but not others? Why do some dogs only follow one person in the household, while others follow everyone? The answer is that sentinel behavior is regulated by multiple internal cues. The most reliable cue is movement. A sentinel's program is most active when the central member of the pack is in transition, which is why your dog stays calm while you are seated, but stands up the instant you rise. The transition is the trigger. The standing, the leaving, the going to another room. Each of these activates the program because each of these is a moment when the central member could become separated from the protector. The second cue is environmental uncertainty. Dogs increase sentinel intensity in unfamiliar environments during stressful periods. And after any household disruption, like a move, a new family member, or a change in routine, the program reads instability and responds with closer monitoring. The third cue is the dog's perception of their own role. Dogs that have been raised in households where they are clearly socially integrated tend to take on full sentinel responsibility for one or more humans. Dogs that have been raised more peripherally tend to follow less, not because they care less, but because the program was not given the social signals it needed to fully activate. Here is the science that confirms this is not interpretation. A 2003 study by ethologist Thidamikal Hayasi at ETV Rend University in Budapest examined attachment patterns between domestic dogs and their owners, using a modified version of the strange situation test originally developed for human infants. The results showed that dogs exhibited attachment behaviors statistically similar to those of human children toward their primary caregivers, including increased proximity, seeking, monitoring, and reduced exploration when the owner was absent. The behaviors were not signs of pathology. They were signs of a healthy, functioning social bond. A 2017 follow-up study published in the journal Behavioral Processes demonstrated that dogs with strong following behavior had lower baseline cortisol levels and better emotional regulation than dogs that followed their owners less consistently. The dogs that followed more were not anxious. They were better integrated into their social system with their sentinel program running cleanly. The following is not a symptom. The following is the system working. There is one more thing about this behavior that quietly changes everything. The sentinel role in canid social structure is reserved for individuals who have been trusted with the protection of someone valuable. A wolf does not assign sentinel duty to peripheral or untrusted pack members. The role is assigned implicitly through the social positioning of every member of the group. When your dog has decided that following you is their job, they have, by the deepest logic of their species, classified themselves as your protector. This is a position of high status in canine social terms. Your dog is not lower than you in the household hierarchy. When they follow you, they are positioned as your guardian. The asymmetry that humans assume, where the human leads and the dog depends, does not match the way the dog's nervous system has organized the relationship. In their model, you are the center, and they are the one who has accepted the responsibility of keeping the center safe. So, what do you do with this? The first thing is to stop calling it clingy. The behavior is not pathological, it is functional, and calling it clingy frames a working social system as a problem to be solved. The second thing is to recognize the difference between sentinel following and true separation anxiety. Sentinel following is calm. The dog gets up, follows you, lies down again, watches the room, settles. The body is relaxed, the breathing is even, the dog is not in distress. Separation anxiety, by contrast, includes vocalization, panting, pacing, destructive behavior, and visible signs of physiological stress. Most following behavior is not anxiety. It is the program working as designed. The third thing is to honor the role. When your dog follows you to the bathroom, you don't have to push them out. When your dog gets up and lies down beside your chair, you don't have to redirect them. What they are doing is one of the most ancient social services any animal performs for another. Receive it that way. The deeper truth is this. Your dog has been running a guardian program in your home since the day they arrived. They have been tracking you, monitoring you, positioning themselves to protect you. With the same instinctive precision their ancestors used to keep wolf pups alive in the wild, the program is not asking anything of you. It is simply, quietly executing the job your dog believes they were born to do. You are not being followed by a needy animal. You are being protected by a sentinel. Now, you can see it. And once you do, you will never look at that behavior the same way again. If this changed the way you see your dog, share it with one person whose dog follows them everywhere and they have always thought it was just clingy. Subscribe to Cute Pet Family. Every week we decode the signals your pet has been sending. Since the day they came home, they've been speaking. It is time you finally learn to listen.